Welcome back to another North Carolina Tar Heels football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you are watching us on our YouTube channel, we're almost at 14,000. So if you're not a subscriber, go hit subscribe on there so we can get to 14,000 and make Jacob Turner happy. That is our channel on YouTube, Tar Heel Illustrated. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Heel Illustrated. No S in the middle, at Heel Illustrated. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me is our director of football recruiting, Miss Deana King. And Deana, the Tar Heels now have 9 commitments in the football class of 2024. Picking up the 9th today, Jani Norwood, a 3-star offensive lineman, 6'3", 300 pounds. He attends Eastern Randolph High School in Ramseur, North Carolina. We'll get into some more of his specs here in a couple of minutes, but what are your initial thoughts on Jani Norwood popping for the Tar Heels?
He's a player that the staff identified really early in his recruitment. They were the first team to offer Norwood, so a lot of kids, they really think a lot of that first school that offers. His recruitment is kind of starting to generate more schools' interest. He had offers from Appalachian State, Charlotte, Coastal Carolina, but he's been on some visits, State, Virginia Tech, East Carolina. He's, at this stage, a lot of, especially in March and April, kids are going on visits and meeting the staffs and everything. So, but Norwood, I mean, he's been to North Carolina a few times, including a recent trip. So he just didn't want to wait around any longer and decided to commit to North Carolina.
Now, he's rated as an offensive lineman, but Carolina's looking at him possibly as a defensive lineman, because if he's an offensive lineman, that would be their 5th in this class already. But you spoke with some people in the know, and they said, look, bring him in, look at him both places, but they really think that he is more a defensive lineman. And I go back to Caleb Hood. Remember when Caleb Hood was graded as a quarterback, but you kept saying he's a running back. And it ended up he was a running back, and maybe his ranking would have been a lot different had he been graded simply as a running back. So what are your thoughts about him being a defensive lineman at Carolina, and how effective is he at that level in high school?
Well, when I made his profile, so I listed him as offensive lineman because at Eastern Randolph he played both, but predominantly he played offensive line, and he had a great offensive line size and everything. But as you just said, they're gonna evaluate him when he gets there and see where he excels. I mean, he may be the perfect nose tackle that Coach Cross wants or something, but he could also play a guard, for Coach Clements. And give shout out to Coach Clements, who's he's already got 4 offensive linemen committed. Could take another one if it's the right guy. There's still some highly ranked targets that have Carolina on their radar, but Norwood, he's like I said, 6'3", 300 pounds, could be really beneficial on either side of the line. So I mean, he kind of was dominant in high school ball. Plays for Eastern Randolph, who's a very good 1A program. They went 11-2 and had a deep run in the playoffs. So I think it's a pickup that Tar Heel fans will kind of look at for a minute, but realize that this kid, we mentioned it before. I mean, he's been to Carolina several times, and he wants to be there, and he wants to be there for the whole total package.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the offensive line thing, because when they just got to pick up a couple days ago, and that was filling the 4th slot, and our understanding was, hey, there's 4 slots to fill. These guys got to take them when they're still available. And you just said that there are some big time, some highly rated offensive linemen that they would make room for, certainly one more. That means if Norwood is more an offensive lineman. That's 6 offensive linemen in the class if he ends up there. That's a lot. That's an awful lot. What does that tell you if they're going to take that many? I know that they've got a lot of older guys that are moving on, but none of these kids would be ready to replace them in a year or two. It's going to be 3 years down the road, really, before any of them get close to getting on the field.
Well, considering they've not got any defensive line commits, my intuition might think that they're leaning more to the defensive side of the ball on him. If it don't work out, maybe they do move him to the offensive line. But I think this could be a defensive line pickup for the North Carolina. Just I mean, they're going to try both, but in the long run, I think he's going to get defensive side first chance.
Jani Norwood, a 6'3", 300-pound, 3-star offensive lineman and defensive lineman from Eastern Randolph High School in Ramseur, North Carolina, has committed to North Carolina. He's the 3rd in-state commitment in this class, the 9th overall commitment. For Deana King, this is AJ. Thanks for stopping by.